Microtransactions are ruining gaming. We know that to be a fact, and it's getting worse and worse to the point where I don't see it getting any better. It's kind of sad that every time something tragic happens to something that you love, you have to continue to fight just to keep the thing that you love the way it is. Not saying change isn't great. I remember when GTA 4 first popularized DLCs with I think it was the Ballad of Gay Tony on GTA 4. Man, people were so excited that the game that they bought just came out with a whole lot of dope new content. And then everyone just took it overboard. They were like, oh, we're going all the way with this thing. You mean to tell me the only time we make money from a game is at the beginning right now, and we could be making money every single month? And so here we go. Now we're like gating content away from people. Content that's available at launch just so somebody has to pay a DLC fee for it. And these companies, bro, they have no shame. These is public companies doing it, and they brag about it in their annual reports. This is Take-Two's annual report where they mention recurrent spending, which is microtransactions, over 23 times. During fiscal 2019, recurrent consumer spending on NBA 2K grew 45% to a new record and became the single largest contributor to that part of our business. They have no intention on cutting off the thing that just became the single most of anything. And that's not like a one-day thing. They do this every year. For the full year, recurrent consumer spending on the NBA 2K franchise grew nearly 30% to a new record and remained the largest contributor to that part of our business. And on this annual report, they talk about it 25 times. They can't help themselves. All right, so let me explain to you how the game works. Think of a publisher like a label, and think of the developer as the artist. Most of the time, development teams, it's a very expensive thing to create a game, especially once you have 10, 20 people on staff. So usually they enlist the help of a big time publisher like Take-Two to help fund the stuff that they can't afford. But what happens is that publisher has shareholders, people that own part of that company, that all they want is money. It doesn't matter if it comes at the cost of the game because they actually don't play games. It only matters that their dividend at the end of the year is looking juicy and their share in the company has grown to a new career high. And dev teams go under all the time over dumb shit. I remember when Telltale Games went under, this was big news. Polygon's article says Telltale Games died because it stopped moving forward. And they came out with a whole bunch of different series, but their most popular was the Walking Dead one with Clementine. And I remember they didn't try and gouge you for money when they played the game. They came out with different episodes and each episode came with a payment. They wasn't spamming microtransactions to the point where it came at the cost of the game. A lot of people love Telltale Games. So when they went under, a lot of people were genuinely sad. So then gamers rejoiced when there was news that Telltale Games is being revived. Oh man, and there was a company called LCG Entertainment, which I don't know nothing about, that bought a whole bunch of different assets that Telltale Games own. Games that can't monetize and make money die. Games that only are at the pursuit of money die. And this type of sad news is not uncommon in the gaming industry. I know y'all remember early 2010s when THQ went under. THQ saw its game development studios and properties sold off individually at auction this week to bidders including Ubisoft, Sega, and Crytek. And I don't know how far y'all go back in games, but THQ had that oh so beloved WWE series that Take-Two then picked up. That became big news. THQ will also transfer development equipment worth about $75,000 to Take-Two, along with any software and assets related to the development of the WWE titles. That's when they became WWE 2K games. So I'm not saying that games shouldn't be trying their hardest to make money, but there's certain games that take it so overboard in their pursuit of money that it actually comes at the cost of the game itself. They'll put together this fantastic game with great features, great modes, and a lot of replayability, and they'll bog it down with a whole lot of BS microtransactions. I feel like GTA 5 is a game that almost hits the line, but doesn't go above the line. Cause you could play GTA 5 and never buy all the DLCs and different parts of the game that they drop. You could play the game and grind it, although it's gonna take a while. You can get your money up, but they also monetize the out of it. And that's why the game has 7 to 8 year cycles. They can spend a lot of money on developing the game because they know it's gonna make money for a very long time after launch. All right, I'm about to show you part of this interview from CEO Strauss Zelnick of Take-Two. Keep in mind, that's the publisher that owns the rights to Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, NBA 2K, Borderlands, XCOM, and a whole bunch of other games. This is what he had to say about Take-Two a little over a decade ago.
We did, however, buy an online market research company before that was sexy, and obviously took over a video game company in 2007 that was very nearly bankrupt. And the perception was that company, had no chance of making it. That company's market cap today is about $10 billion, a little bit more.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, that means that unbeknownst to us, Take-Two could have went under. We could have never seen a GTA 5 or a Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. And that's because they were doing a horrible job at monetizing their IPs at the time. And then talking about business a little bit later in that interview, He said this.
Point about preservation versus, innovation or disintermediation. We got to be the ones to disintermediate ourselves.
100%.
And that's a very hard task. But if you're worried about cannibalization in your core business, you should be the one cannibalizing your core business, or someone else will do it for you.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're cannibalizing their own core business. Man, I did a video like a year or so ago about this guy here. And he's a guy who's never failed in his career. Everything that he put his hand on, he succeeded tremendously. And he's running around telling people that microtransactions are the future of gaming. Now, as a gamer though, I hope that's not the case, but he's kind of proving his point though. It used to be the case that only free-to-play games came out with microtransactions. If the game was free, they needed a way to make money. They either ran ads or sold things to you within the game in the form of microtransactions. But now it'd be $60 titles. You buy the $120 Legend Edition Super Deluxe Super Duper Edition, and you're still paying $50 more once you get into the game, and there were recurrent $50 every month just because some new content drops. So this is where I get to the point where I think the gaming industry is not gonna be in complete shambles. Because we've seen devs like, and I know CD Projekt Red really up with the Cyberpunk thing, but they're one of the good developers. It's hard to say that after their launch, but they are. Same goes with Naughty Dog. Same goes, in my opinion, with Riot Games. Same goes, in my opinion, with Epic Games. Those are all games where they could have went insanely OD with the microtransactions on the Fortnites and on the Valorants, but they keep it cosmetic only. And so I go out of my way to support those games because when I play Valorant, I don't want to play a brand new free gaming experience, especially when it's a game that I really love and I want to support the people who made it. When I bought Cyberpunk on PC, I bought it using GOG Galaxy instead of Steam because Steam takes a bigger cut. I have hope for the gaming industry, man. There's plenty of great developers doing great things all the time. Do they drop perfect games all the time? No. Gaming has gotten so complicated. I remember I took a couple programming courses in high school and a couple in university. That is hard, bro. There'll be like this whole 40 pages of code and then something will go wrong and then you have to find out where the thing that went wrong is. And you almost always get it wrong. It's like the ultimate test of problem solving. So I have a little bit of grace when developers drop games and there's an issue. Should they be dropping them polished? Yes. But the reality is, if games aren't making money, they go under. And again, if games go too hard trying to make money, people stop supporting it. And there's games that are right down the middle, in my opinion, that give me hope. There's this tweet Chalk put out saying, I miss the days where you could load up on 2K and not have to pay 25K VC just to buy a t-shirt. Aiden responded, it's clearly obvious they don't care about making the game better at this point. It's all about microtransactions and making more money. It's sad. So what could we do? That's what I always try and get down to. What can I do to help make the landscape better? Well, when I see a game I genuinely love and they put a lot of time and effort into making sure that the game was as good as it can be, I support it. I want to incentivize those developers to make good games before anything else. And that's my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Click on this video right here. I talk a little bit about Twitch no longer being the primary destination for gaming live streaming. For a lot of different reasons I point out, I think their time is up. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace.